Imagine a world where money itself was reinvented, a place where a single coin could change your life, where the rules that governed wealth for centuries suddenly didn't matter. That was the promise of cryptocurrency. By October last year, the world watched in awe as Bitcoin and its digital siblings reached heights no one thought possible. The collective value of these tokens had surged to an astonishing $4.4 trillion, a fortune for the bold, a dream for the curious, and a warning for the cautious. But every peak casts a shadow, and as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the farther you can fall. By the time this story unfolds, the market had plummeted to just under $2.2 trillion. Half of the glittering promise had vanished. But numbers alone do not tell the full story. Even the U.S. dollar has been losing strength, hiding just how deep this collapse truly runs. If cryptocurrency was meant to be a currency, it had failed its first test. In just a single month, the majors lost almost 50% of their purchasing power. Hyperinflation wasn't a distant fear. It was staring us in the face. If it was supposed to be an alternative payment system, its slow networks, high fees, and basic scalability limits made that. As the sun set on the glittering peaks of last year's crypto boom, a new reality emerged. The world had watched fortunes vanish almost overnight. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and their digital kin were no longer symbols of boundless possibility. They had become testaments to risk, resilience, and human desire. But every hero's journey must confront not only enemies outside, but the shadows within. And for cryptocurrency, those shadows were everywhere. The first confrontation came in the form of human expectation. The early believers, the fanatics who had lit up online forums, donned laser eyes, and preached the gospel of decentralization, were moving on. Their dreams of life-altering wealth had collided with reality. Some had cashed out quietly, retreating to safer or more immediate opportunities like legalized gambling, prediction markets, or the rising allure of AI investments. Their absence was felt like the slow creak of a door closing in a once vibrant hall. The market still churned, but the lifeblood of optimism was ebbing, leaving new participants, novices, and casual investors standing on a battlefield they barely understood. They were spectators, watching numbers dance on screens, unaware of the history, the promise, or the heartbreak embedded in every transaction. The second challenge was the very infrastructure of the dream. Behind the glowing charts and viral headlines, the machinery of crypto was straining. Mining, the invisible labor that authorized transactions, had become an expensive, energy-consuming behemoth. Fees rose. Transfers slowed. The hero had climbed the mountain. The hero had endured the storm. Now came the moment every great journey reaches sooner or later, the moment of truth. For years, cryptocurrency had moved through the world like a legend in the making, a digital rebellion against the old financial order, a new form of money born from code rather than governments. It promised freedom, opportunity, and wealth beyond imagination. People did not only buy coins, they bought a vision. But visions are powerful things, and sometimes they hide the deeper reality beneath them. As the market shook and prices stumbled, the world began to ask harder questions. Not questions about charts or trends, but about purpose. What exactly had cryptocurrency become? Because beneath the excitement, one truth was becoming harder to ignore. The crypto market functioned largely as a zero-sum arena. For one person to leave with profit, another person needed to buy in. Each success story depended on a new believer arriving at the table. Each fortune gained required another participant willing to take the risk. The cycle could continue for years as long as belief remained strong. But when belief weakens, the balance shifts. And when the balance shifts, the cracks appear. This truth did not mean cryptocurrency was worthless, but it did mean its value depended heavily on confidence, attention, and constant demand. When that attention moved elsewhere, the consequences spread quickly. At the same time, another quiet cost had been building behind the scenes. Energy. The digital world feels weightless, but the machines that power are anything but. Bitcoin mining alone consumes enormous amounts of electricity across the globe. Researchers at Cambridge and the International Energy Agency estimated that Bitcoin's annual energy demand sits at around 150 terawatt hours. To put that in perspective, That is roughly equal to the additional energy demand created by the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. Massive server farms. Endless rows of computers solving cryptographic puzzles. Day and night. Electricity turning into digital coins. And then there is the hardware itself. Specialized mining machines known as ASICs become obsolete quickly to stay competitive.